Okie dokie. So, as we discussed there, just to start with, okay, the initial problem we had slices to the right, pull shots to the left with the short clubs, fins and backs, all really coming from an inability to rotate, okay, not because you physically can't, okay, because the posture you were creating was a bit rounded there in the back, and the weight was for me a lot back on the heels, okay, very sort of static and stuck back there. As a result, rather than your hips sort of rotating in the backswing, they just sort of slid laterally side to side. Now, obviously, when they're doing that, if you've got the hips going one way and the body trying to rotate in the arm, there's lots of different moving parts there, not really working in sync. So when you hit lots of shots over a short period, you kind of worked out what a good swing felt like, and you hit some lovely shots. But unfortunately, golf, you get on the first tee, you tee off with one club, you then at the guys you're playing the tee off, and you walked it. There's a very different way of playing, okay? So what we're going to focus on to start with now, this is going to be something you can practice for next sort of couple of months or whatever, leading to the sort of springtime as you said you wanted to. Build up a routine that's going to start with putting the golf club down first, okay, leaning forward now, reaching the golf ball, okay, trying to get a nice tilt there with the spine over the golf ball. There'll always be a smidgen of a lean there, but it's how the angle of your spine and your belt buckle for me is the key thing. We're not sort of tucked under. The back balls have a little bit of a curve, but if we actually look at these two positions, once you put the golf club down and then you set your feet afterwards there, okay, look at those two backs. So that back now is a lot more over the golf ball. There's a lot more tilt, I get that, like more tilt there in your hips, where that's now is a little bit flatter, you see. It's getting that hip tilt. So now our hips in this position, they can rotate. And then once you yourself practicing that setup position, that's going to be your sort of number one and sole focus of getting in a better position, okay? And then allow your body to rotate. Because the swing itself, when you're looking down the line, is very, very good. You make a nice sort of backswing to the top there. Nice rotation. A little bit of a rising up there, Probably more the camera lift, to be fair. Not much, I wouldn't say. There's a little bit there. There's a smidgen there. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's enough. And this is the thing, I think a lot of people watch on golf swings. Because of modern tech now, people sort of phones and they can film swings and you can watch things. As you're looking at a golf shot there now, you've seen yourself rise up slightly, okay, and you're going, oh, that's the problem, okay. I would say for you it's more a question of actually the fact you're setting up a little bit too far from the golf ball. There's a smidgen of a stretch, which then causes the rise up, just a smidgen, okay. The problem is people see a fault and see you rising and say, oh, don't rise up. But that's like saying something, the cough, don't cough. It's not the cure. You see the fault, but the cure of the fault is not don't do it. But with people with phones, people make calls to things. Oh, you'll see something you're not maybe a fan of. Oh, I don't like that. I want to change that. It's understanding why it's happening. Okay, but in terms of that position, that's a very good position.
It's a lot better than
massively. Exactly. Definitely. Okay, so as you bring the golf club back down now, that club can attack back the golf ball now. Very good position there, coming back nicely down the target line. Strike of the golf ball there. It's not quite as much movement through the ball as we like, but I'd be very surprised if that suddenly changes straight away within 3 swings. It's going to take a little bit of practice now. Well, your lower half now, at this position now, your right foot should really be coming off the ground.
I was going to ask you.
It then kind of comes off at the end. So what's happening there is now your top half swinging through. Still a good shot, to be fair, but still could be better. Your top half now is basically dragging your lower half behind. Whereas if you watch the tour professionals play there from here, and sort of their lower half, if you were to skim a pebble or throw a ball, you'd be back here, and your right side would be twisting through. You wouldn't throw a ball and go and then come through afterwards. So
there's something I was going to ask you about, because I do feel my bottom half is pretty passive.
Exactly. Well, that generally comes from when you're back on your heels. If you're squatting down and you're on your heels, a squat position with the weight back on the heels and bending down there and slouched under is designed to sort of stay in a static position. So lift up and down, or if you're, say, playing rugby, try and tackle someone so you don't get moved off the spot. So that position you're doing, set it back on the heels and squatting, is designed to stay in a static position. Whereas really want to be a bit more to the middle part of your feet in a position where we can get a bit more rotation in the golf swing. Because the overall swing, very, very good, I think, to be fair. And that's why when you make enough shots over a period of time, you can find a good shot. But it's that inconsistency on the golf course. If you're then playing golf, topping, thinning, fatting, hooking and slicing, or pulling and slicing, which shot are you going to play for? There's lots of variation there between one and the other. It's very difficult then to be consistent, knowing where to. If you're somebody just, I slice everything, that's fine, aim for the left arm. We can do something to cure that, but there's 3 or 4 different shots there. Which one are you going to get? So work on that sequence, club first, posture, and then set your feet. There may be a little bit of tinkering with how far from the ball you need to go. The one thing we don't want to create a setup is any stretching at this point in the shoulder blade. If there's any reach for the golf ball, you're not going to reach the golf club
Yeah.
back to the golf when you swing to impact, okay? So you'll find you come a little bit away from it and you may get a few finish shots as a couple have been, okay? But that's going to be a bit of practice with that, finding that sort of best setup position. And that's the same for every club, whether you're doing a 3-foot putt or a 300-yard drive. Club down first, then grip it, and then set your feet. So you create a routine, basically. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Good, right, have a couple more then, Glenn, and we'll see how they go from there, okay?